National Assembly has approved a contentious amendment which provides for a manual backup system for the voting, transmission and tallying of election results, which was strongly opposed by the opposition. The amendment, sponsored by the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee Chairman Samuel Chepkonga, was passed during the special morning sitting convened after a similar one was disrupted on Tuesday. Opposition members of Parliament stormed out of the proceedings, accusing their Jubilee counterparts, led by Majority Leader Aden Duale, of bulldozing the change to the motion. Let us now cross over to Parliament, where our senior reporter Duncan Khaemba has been following the events as they unfolded. And good afternoon to you, Duncan. If you can point to us exactly what happened this morning and what this means for Kenyans to understand.
It was a very dramatic morning session and traumatizing at the same time. Dramatic in the sense that immediately we arrived here at Parliament, the media was confined to their working area, the media center. There was no live broadcast that was allowed. The media was barred from going to the press gallery, which is the area that is allocated for parliamentary journalists who do parliamentary reporting. Then what was happening in the chambers, a scuffle, a near scuffle, and we saw some members of parliament that came out saying, with the bruises all over. Of course, they claimed that some members were heavily armed in there, but we'll be engaging the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly shortly. First of all, let us hear what the opposition team had to address the nation immediately. They left the chambers. Of course, a minority leader in the Senate, Moses Wetangula, who was leading the opposition troops in Parliament, and the deputy leader of minority in the National Assembly, Jacoyo Midiwo. And then after that, we'll have a live interview with the Deputy Speaker, Joyce Laboso, who will be telling us exactly what transpired. First, let's listen in to what the opposition team had to say.
We have a past, we have a present, we have a future in this country. Now we will take this to the next level and we shall meet them on the streets. Jenonga Iseri, buy more tear gas, buy more dirty, poisoned water, and let's meet. You can kill some people, you will not kill all Kenyans. I will now invite Honorable Jacoyo Midiwo to say
No coverage, no media coverage.
but here KTN is live here.
We need to say that. It's okay, I'm going to say. Yes. Well, it's just as absurd as has been mentioned by our leader, the Senate minority leader. I don't think Jubilee came to debate. We never even got to the substance of the debate. I see that one of us has a clip of what has just happened in there, so we are going to share, I'm going to ask her to share it with the media. Since they are not allowing media coverage, and we can't accept that, we decided to walk out because I was informed by a friend in the Jubilee side that guns were being aimed at us. So as a leader, I don't think it's fair to sit in a parliament where, number one, the speaker came with a ruling that we can't debate. For us, we don't have guns, we have our brains. So for the president to sanction members of parliament to shoot each other in the chamber, I think something has really gone wrong with our country, not on Christmas Eve, but that is where we are. The next thing I want to say is that the speaker has abused his powers by calling this special session. Parliament is guided by standing orders. He is allowed to call a special session only on very specific and specified instances. or unless something is urgent
And can't wait.
and cannot wait.
Well, there you have it, an infuriated lot from the opposition, of course, breathing fire and brimstone there. After that was the end of them, after storming out of the chambers. They made the statement, then left, and then continued with their protest outside the precincts. Those allegations from members who are inside the chamber came out, told the nation. Perhaps we'll want to hear from the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Dr. Joyce Laboso, of course, what the leaders have told the nation, that it was like a battlefield. Could you paint for us a picture? What exactly happened? We didn't have the privilege. The media also didn't get an opportunity.
I think, yes, thank you very much for this opportunity to really tell Kenyans really the truth of what happened. The proceedings were going on quite well inside the chamber until we got to the point where the opposition, when the speaker asked that we would like to recommit, which is a normal parliamentary procedure for recommitting clauses into the law that has been passed. And that one went on quite well. The only issue is when he asked that he was putting the question for us to recommit the clauses that we wanted to recommit. That is at that point that the opposition stood up when he put the question, and the ayes have it, and the speaker said the ayes have it. They stood up, and we had now a division. It is at that point when we were preparing to do the division that some scuffling, took place. And really, for me, I want to tell Kenyans really that us as politicians, we need to give these Kenyans a break. I think this country is not about just us. This country is composed of so many other people that really we need to tell Kenyans the truth, because the laws that we are not passing were not Jubilee laws. The laws that the amendments that were made were not Jubilee amendments. They were amendments for Kenyans. These are issues that were brought by IEBC. And the committee, legal committee, sat with IEBC, sat even with the Communications Authority of Kenya, really to look very critically. And that meeting took place yesterday. It had taken place even earlier, with the committee, just to ensure.
Some members are making very serious allegations that some members even found their way into the chambers armed with guns. And then we've seen a very tight security that has been thrown around, even accessing Parliament. How can you explain to that? Is it true that some members were armed in the chambers? And maybe if you could just explain to the nation why the barricades and why the heavy deployment of security personnel outside Parliament?
I think a lot of what you see really is because of necessity. I think a lot of information had come out through the intelligence on what some of the members were doing from both sides of the political divide. And it was important to secure everybody. This is not securing one side it was important to secure everybody. When you hear that members are carrying people in their vehicles, extra people, not parliamentarians, to come into Parliament, and going by what had happened on Tuesday, when something unprecedented happened where the speaker was literally unable to come out of his chamber because people had blocked him from his office, because people had blocked him from getting into the chamber. That is unprecedented. Nowhere in all parliaments have you ever heard of the speaker's procession being stopped. So with this in mind, it is important that it would be irresponsible on the part of the speaker to just get that kind of information and doesn't do anything about it. It was important to secure everybody, to make sure that the precinct of Parliament was secure so that parliamentarians can do what they are paid to do, to legislate. And that is exactly what was there.
Yes, everybody was secured, but we saw some members of Parliament, they've left the chambers bleeding. The majority leader has asked Tigania West Member of Parliament, Mpuri Aburi, to go and record a statement on the same. How did this one happen to an extent that members actually have torn into each other? Some are bleeding, they have...
That is why I said, really, politicians, we have to give Kenyans a break. We don't really have to get to that level I mean, those scuffles started during the session on Tuesday. They continued again today. So I think, personally, I would really tell Kenyans, please let's not be guided by what goes on in this house. It is true, some members came out with scars on their face, and you really feel, it pains me as a leader to think that we have to resort to physical fighting for us to get our point across. But, nobody can be absorbed from this scuffling. You saw the behavior of some of the members the other day. If it is, the kind of abusive language that you had being used the other day on Tuesday. So you cannot talk about Jubilee doing anything that is adversely different from what CORD did the other day. So that is why, for me, I say to Kenyans, please choose your leaders wisely. Let us look at each leader and look at how they conduct themselves, so that we can be able to bring sanity into our parliament. But what took place today, I want to assure Kenyans, was for the good of Kenyans. It was issues that had been brought by IBC, and only that because of these politicians and grandstanding and refusing to really reason, that is why we find ourselves where we are today. There was no reason, absolutely, because all those things were discussed in the committee, which had members from both sides of the political divide.
Well, thank you very much. That's the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Dr. Joyce Laboso, explaining to us exactly what happened. Now, despite that grandstanding and all that, nonetheless, business had to be transacted, and the House, as we speak, the House stands adjourned until 24th of January 2015. So whereas CORD members left Parliament, other members of Parliament remained behind, and this is what happened.
After some times, they evaporate, Mr. Speaker. So you discuss. They get disfigured. They get disfigured, Mr. Speaker. And so you require an alternative method to identify this. And IBC, for your information, in fact, had to identify those people by sending text and a photo appearing. And it was accepted, and people voted. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Oh, seconding. Honorable Pokose.
Yes. I second, Mr. Speaker.
I propose a question that the Election Laws Amendment Bill, National Number 3, National Assembly Bill Number 63 of 2015, be now read at that time. Being the desire of the House, and having confirmed that we more than quorate, I put the question as desired by the House. The question is, I have confirmed that we more than quorate. And therefore, as the desire of the House, put the question that the Election Laws Amendment Bill number 3, National Assembly Bill number 63 of 2015, be now read a third time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. As many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to give effect to Article 99 of the Constitution, to amend the Elections Act 2011 and the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Act 2011 to provide for electoral processes and for connected purposes.
Honourable members, this member, we are in the House, not Kibra. Honourable members, there being no other business, this House stands adjourned till Tuesday, 24th of January 2017 at 2:30 p.m.
So there you have it. Against all against all odds, with or without CORD, the National Assembly members who are in had to do what they had to do, and they had to amend the laws. What happened after that traumatic and dramatic session? It was now time for the Jubilee Party in the National Assembly, which is the majority party, to come out in jubilation, similar to what their CORD counterparts pulled on Tuesday night after scuttling the process. These were the celebrations. Then the majority leader of the party in the National Assembly, Eden Duale, had to make some address. Listen in.
You have seen Honorable Muturi. You have seen he was injured by an ODM member and a senior member by Honorable Jacob Midio. Just because they believe in the culture of violence, you have seen their intention is to fight democratically established institutions. You have seen on Tuesday, they wanted to stop the procession of the Speaker. We are aware a key advisor of Raila Odinga, Tom Mboya, has placed a petition to petition the removal of the new Chief Justice. Yes. So I can tell you their next place is to stop the procession of the Chief Justice to conduct his business at the Supreme Court. We know their trick. Their next place is to go to State House and stop the president from leaving. So these are people from 2014 when Raila Odinga came back from the United States. It was very, very clear he didn't want elections. He wanted the removal of IBC. He has done everything, but we want to tell the country in a very clear and certain terms that Kenyans will go to the polls on 8th of August 2017. Raila Odinga apende asipende. Number two, there is nowhere written in the Constitution of Kenya that if Raila Odinga is not participating in the election, there will be no election. So whether it is about the laws we have passed this afternoon, whether it is about anything, this morning we are telling Raila Odinga, you are not a common denominator in the election of the Republic of Kenya. And we are telling him and his cohorts, they can go to the election as a team who will fail, or they can go to the election as individuals. Exactly. Raila Odinga can go individual, Kalonzo can go individual, Wetangula. So whether they go as a team or they know already they have lost. And number three, we are sending a very clear message to Judge Odunga. Parliament has, under the new constitution, has its own calendar. Yes. You want Judge Odunga, and I have said it many times. 24th of January, when we come back, I will introduce a motion to discuss you. Yeah.
So, yes, that is exactly what transpired. Less than 30 minutes, the session was over. The House stands adjourned until 24th January 2017, when the fifth session will begin. Madam Deputy Speaker, has Parliament lost its independence as a first term of government? Is Parliament acting under duress?
I want to disabuse that information or that notion. Parliament was doing what they are mandated to do, that is to legislate. And I want to really tell Kenyans, what we did today was for Kenyans. And I want to wish all of them a very, very Merry Christmas, and particularly those people of Bomet County and my own constituency, Sotik. Let us all stay united, Kenyans. This country belongs to all of us. And please, as I said earlier on, it is not about the politicians. This country is for all of us. And let us see how we can remain united, remain cohesive, so that this country can move forward.
Thank you very much, Sharon, the Deputy Speaker, saying Parliament is not under duress. Parliament has not lost their independence. Of course, wishing Kenyans a very Merry Christmas after, again, a dramatic and traumatizing session. From Parliament, my name is Duncan Haemba. On behalf of my colleague David Mwenda, Jeff Kirui, over to you as we continue monitoring what will be happening as the day slowly but surely progresses to sunset in the evening. Over to you, Sharon.